Solving two-step equations, day 2. So let's start off with some warm-ups. Letter A, 3x plus 1 is equal to 11. Or 3x minus 1 is equal to 11. I'm going to add 1. I'm going to do plus 1 on both sides because that's the inverse. This is a negative 1, positive 1. So my 3x comes down. Those cancel out. Over here I have 12. 3 is being multiplied by x, so the inverse is to divide. And I get x equal to 4. Letter B, 1 equals 2x plus 7. I'm going to subtract 7 on both sides so that my 7's cancel out and are gone. Negative 6 equals 2x. The inverse of multiplying is to divide. I get x equal to negative 3. Letter C, 12 minus x equals 15. I'm going to subtract 12 on both sides. The sign in front of the number is what it is. If there's nothing written, it's a positive. So that's how I knew to subtract. Don't look at what it's after it. Just look at the sign in front of it. My 12's are gone. Negative x comes down. Remember, just like I said, the sign in front of it indicates what it is. So it's a negative x. And on the right side, I have 15 minus 12, which is 3. This is not done yet because it's negative x. I want to know what positive x is equal to. So since this is a negative 1x, the inverse is to divide because these are being multiplied. My negative 1's cancel. X equals negative 3. And again, if you're ever stuck and you just want to check, you're questioning, substitute it back in. 12 minus negative 3 is 12 plus 3, which is 15. So we did it right. Letter D, negative 17 equals 4x plus 9. I'm going to subtract 9 on both sides. My 9's cancel. Negative 17 minus 9 is the same as negative 17 plus negative 9, which is actually negative 26, equal to 4x. 4 is being multiplied by x, so I divide by 4. Those cancel. X equals, now sometimes it might not come out perfectly like we see here. It's okay, do a little bit of dividing. Never a problem. Put in my decimal because I have to bring a value over, and I end up getting 6.5. And it's a negative answer. Letter E, negative x over 5 plus 7 equals 5. This negative sign can go with either the x or the 5, and here's why. Let's say x is 10. If I make it negative x over 5. So if I put the negative with the numerator, that's like saying negative 10 over 5, which would give me negative 2. If I put the negative sign with the denominator, so it would be x over negative 5, I would get 10 over negative 5, which equals negative 2. Same thing. And had I just left the negative where it was, negative x over 5 right out in front, then if I would simplify it using x equal to 10, I'd get 10 over 5 with that negative out there, which would be negative 2. So it works every way you do it. It can go with the numerator, denominator, or right out in front. The only thing you can't do, which I'll write in red so you don't do it, is that you cannot do negative x and negative 5. You cannot put the negative sign with the numerator and denominator, and here's why. It would be negative 10 over negative 5, and that would give you a positive 2. The answer is negative 2, so that is not the way to go. So in short, if you have a negative sign in front of a fraction, you can put the negative with the numerator or denominator. I'll put it in the numerator. Okay. So I want to get x by itself. I'm going to subtract 7 on both sides. I get negative x over 5 is equal to negative 2. Now I need to multiply to get that 5 out of the denominator. My 5's cancel. Negative x comes down, negative 10. And I'm not done yet because, again, just like up here, I have a negative x, so I need to divide by negative 1. Actually, my sign just flips, and I get x equal to 10, because negative 10 divided by negative 1 is positive 10. In letter F, I'm going to add 10 to both sides. When I add 10, I get 3 equal to x over 6. And I'm going to multiply both sides by 6. 6's cancel. X equals 18. All right, let's try example 1. Here we have written in verbal sentences. We want to write them as math sentences. So 5 minus the product of 2 and a number is 7. 5 minus the product of 2 and a number. Well, we don't know the number, so that's our variable. And product means multiply. So I'm going to multiply 2 and our number, so that's just 2x, is equals 7. So 5 minus 2x is 7. I'm going to subtract 5, negative 2x is equal to 2, and then divide by negative 2 on both sides. So x equals negative 1. Let's go to page 2. Some more problems that look like that. 32 minus the product of 9 and a number, so that's 9 times the variable, and you can use whatever you'd like, is equals 140. So 32 minus 9x equals 140. I'm going to subtract 32 on both sides. Negative 9x equals 108. Divide by negative 9, divide by negative 9. X is equal to negative 12. Letter C, 13 plus the product of 6 and a number, so 6x, is 67. 13 plus 6x equals 67. I'm going to subtract 13 on both sides. 6x equals 54. And then divide both sides by 6 to get variable by itself. X equals 9. In letter D, negative 8 minus the product of 3 and a number is 19. Negative 8 minus the product of 3 and a number, 3x, is 19. So negative 8 minus 3x equals 19. I'm going to add 8 to both sides. Negative 3x comes down. 19 plus 8 is 27. Divide both sides by negative 3. X equals negative 9. Last problem on this lesson is example, I don't think that's example 5. It should be example 2. Anyways, you are buying a drum set that costs $495. The music store lets you make a down payment. You can pay the remaining costs in 3 equal monthly payments with no interest charged. You make a down payment of $150. How much is each monthly payment? Okay, in class we'll talk about what all of this means a little bit more in depth, and we'll go over a good rule of thumb for writing equations based off word problems. But in general, let's take a look. The idea here is that you are buying a drum set, and it costs $495. That's the total. So a good start is to make your equation equal whatever the total is. That's not always, but it's a good start. So it equals $495. Now you don't have all that money. You only have $150. You're going to make a down payment of $150. So now there's $150 that you've taken care of. So we're going to put that on the left side. Well, the remaining amount of money that you have to pay them, they list here, they say you can pay the remaining costs in 3 equal monthly payments. So this is what we don't know, what the 3 equal monthly payments are going to be. And usually what you don't know is where the variable goes. So we're going to represent that with 3x. So what's happening here is we're going to say this is what we have. We can pay the store right now, $150. We're going to add to that our 3 equal monthly payments that we have to figure out what they are, and that's going to total how much the actual drum set costs. So let's go ahead and solve. 150, we're going to subtract it on both sides. When I subtract, that cancels, 3x comes down, and I subtract to get 345. My inverse operation is to divide, so I'm going to divide by 3 on both sides, and x equals 115, because the word problem, dollars. So what this means is, how much is each monthly payment? You could write each monthly payment is $150. 15. Okay, and again, you can always substitute your answer back in to make sure it makes sense. 3 times 115 would give you 345 plus 150 equals a total of 195 for the drum set. All right, thanks guys. See you next time.